Hey guys, welcome to an all-new episode of HBFIT TV. I am here with Danielle and Carly, who are the founders of theSkimm. Ever heard of it? No, but seriously, theSkimm is huge, wildly successful. I actually met Danielle and Carly 7 years ago.
7 years ago, yeah.
Which is basically kind of the same time that you guys were starting
yeah,
as well. So tell us everything. Like, I want to hear, first of all, I want to hear about like how you guys met and how did theSkimm like come to creation?
Well, we're really excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, of course.
And we love being here because we did kind of start at the same time, and I feel like we both started somewhere and it's turned into this whole journey. So excited to be here. We'll start with how we met.
Yeah, we have a good story.
Really?
How we met Sally moment.
Oh my god.
I would say we trump all other founder stories.
Yeah, that's like our claim to fame. It's like, okay, our story is better than any other co-founders if that's like all we have. So Carly and I met back in the day. We went to different schools, but we ended up on the same study abroad trip in Rome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were in this program about like 150 kids, and we were both looking for fried artichokes in Rome, and so we bonded over how do we find the fried artichokes.
Oh my god.
And so yeah, we were friendly, and I always associated Danielle with the artichokes, and then we reconnected after college. We were both working full time at NBC. And
that's a coincidence.
Totally. We never talked about work or career aspirations.
That is weird.
It's also something that I think you do when you're 19, right? You're kind of just like, you're out and about in Rome and you never talk about the fact that you want to do the same thing.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of true.
And we interned with the same people, just different summers. So it was, we really were kind of like ships in the night. And then I read an article written by Danielle for the political unit at NBC, and I used to intern for them. So I used to read it kind of obsessively, and I Facebook messaged her and said, "Is this you?" And then we immediately reconnected. We both ended up living in DC, both ended up living in New York. We became roommates in New York.
Oh my god.
In like a box of an apartment. Like I would say this room we're in is probably like twice the size of the apartment.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Insane.
And then I think we had a quarter life crisis, which like sounds ridiculous now, but looking back, it was a real thing that we went through, which is...
I actually don't think it's ridiculous, and so many women come to me and they're 22 years old and they feel like they are a failure because they don't know what they want to do with their life.
I think it's so, for us it was almost the opposite, that we had interned, we were on the path, we went to the right school, we did the right internships, and then we got into these jobs, we got our foot in the door, we worked up the ladder really, really quickly, and then you get to this point where you look around and you're like, after all of that, I'm not going to wait in line to hope that one job that I want opens up. And that's kind of where we were, and I think that for most industries that are kind of more traditional, whether it's media, whether it's finance, when you have this entrepreneurial spirit and it propels you so quickly, and that's amazing, and then you get into this point where you're like, there's so much I want to do, I love what I'm doing and I want to do more, and you don't have that freedom.
Yeah.
It's tough, and that's really where we found ourselves at 25.
Yeah, I think the reason that it's sort of a thing that we hear people say a quarter life crisis is because in every industry, there is no longer a traditional career path. That you check off all the boxes, you put in the hours, you do this step, this step, this step, you'll get here. Every industry has been disrupted or is going through some sort of transformation in one way or another, that there is no set path. And so whether you think of yourself as an entrepreneur or not, or someone who is an intrapreneur, we all have to be entrepreneurial in our careers, and that's very scary and very overwhelming at times.
Totally. Okay, so you guys move in together, and then when is like theSkimm's aha moment?
I wish we had like an aha moment, because it would make for a really good story.
Better answer.
Yeah, basically it was a gradual to the ha. Like it was basically we were roommates. We would talk about knowing that our career needed to shift. We were each sort of exploring different ways that could take shape or form. Danielle was thinking about the LSAT. I was going to study for the GRE or GMAT. I was taking econ classes at night, which was terrible. We were both taking like a lot of informational meetings, just trying to find our way. And at the same time, we used to sort of just swap stories about how our friends who are very smart, very well educated, and very busy, every day without fail would ask us what happened in the world that day. And every day we're not watching what we were producing at our traditional media company that we were employed by. And so there was such a disconnect, and we would just kind of always talk about one day we'll do something. We never said what it was, we called it project, and we'd be like, one day we'll do the project. And it was interesting, like the show I was put on was switched, Danielle's promotion was delayed, and It was like early July, and we knew like it was like now or never. It was summer of an election year, it was July 2012. In media, it's all media hires a lot of freelancers ahead of elections, so we figured let's give ourselves the summer. We had just enough savings for 2 months of rent. If nothing happened in 2 months, we would get hired freelance and then figure out full time after the election. Yeah, so it wasn't like this aha moment, but it was this kind of gradual thing that.
And you saw the opening.
Yeah, and there was no talking us out of it.
Right. We did. We saw the opening so clearly, and I think the aha moment was that we were pushing each other. So I don't think either one of us would have like jumped off the ledge to quit our jobs. Our parents thought it was insane.
Right. I'm
like
sure.
now they're like, oh yeah, we knew it was gonna be a success. We're like, no, you didn't.
Right.
And you were like, are you sure that you want to quit? It's like, really, you worked so hard, you got this. And then it would be like each one of us would have this experience, and one of us would be really certain it was the right thing when the other one was freaking out.
Right.
So it was kind of like we left together.
Right.
And then you're in this position where it's like you quit your job, you have no safety net, you have to visualize success. That's it.
Totally. And so when was like that first moment also for you guys where, been putting out the emails, like the newsletters, or I don't want to call it a newsletter.
Yeah, I mean, the first product.
So
was
yeah, so the newsletter's going out. When was that first moment where you were like, oh my God, like people are into this?
It actually happened day one. It's really crazy. So it was the weirdest thing. We launched, so we sent out the email. We asked a lot of people to sign up. We had pitched 2 articles about ourselves. I think it was a slow news week because I have no idea why we got covered. And immediately, like by 11 a.m. on launch day, there was a debate about us online. And articles, why you should skim the news, and then an article, why you shouldn't skim the news. And so all of a sudden people were talking about us, and so our growth was very quick, like, the first 2 days. And then we had emailed, I think we definitely went after, getting in front of everybody. We emailed every on-air talent at NBC. And we probably knew a few of them, but certainly not all of them. One of the people that we emailed, who we did not know, was Hoda Kotb. Wrote her a note, she was super nice, and then we kept following up. And so day 4, so it was like the Tuesday after we launched, we actually had a meeting at NBC to meet with one of our old bosses and catch them up what we were doing, and our inbox started crashing. And then someone wrote on our Facebook wall, saw you on the Today Show. And we thought we were like caught in the plaza, like walking by.
Yeah, I'm dead over this story.
We were like, oh, good thing we have our bags.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I was all this time working at NBC, I've never been like spotted on the plaza. And then our email would not load, and it was because Hoda named us as one of her favorite things. And our whole website crashed, like our inbox crashed, and all of a sudden we had thousands of users, and not only that, but we had geographic diversity. Because basically, so really to this day, our audience, if you kind of do like a cohort analysis, so much of our foundational growth mimics where the Today Show's fans are. So like all of Mobile, Alabama skims. Wow. We got like a lot of people in the South and the Midwest, and very quickly became not a coastal brand.
I also think going back to that first day, and it's interesting, I haven't thought about that, like really feeling what it was like that first day. And I remember when those first 2 articles came out, and just like having this moment in front of our refrigerator, which like came up to here, so I'm like standing and like resting my arms on it, and like feeling like this is either the worst thing I've ever done in my life. Like I've just jeopardized everything that I worked for, or this is either going to be the best thing I've ever done. Yeah. And I remember getting an email from someone that I worked with at NBC who said that if I was upset about the article, like the second article that came out that was critical, then I should rethink this because it's nothing compared to what's gonna come. And I think there was a moment there where I went from crying to like, what am I crying about? And we just started something that in its first day has already caused people to take notice.
Totally.
And I think that was kind of the best thing to happen early on, because you start to be like, wow, people have opinions about something that we just created from our living room couch.
Right, exactly. And that's when you know it's like a real situation. So obviously, fast forward, almost 7 years later, we're sitting in Skimm HQ, which is huge, ginormous, larger than most offices I've ever seen. You guys have, I want to say like hundreds of employees.
100.
100
yes.
Employees, that's a lot. So now that we're 7 years in, tell me like where we are in the business.
We are in an exciting moment of the business. So we are a full-fledged membership company where the Skimm is a membership to living smarter. And our goal, we started with news, we moved into civic engagement. We're so proud of the work we've done, getting 200,000 people to vote in 2018, 110,000 people to vote in 2016.
Wow.
And so what we're doing now is really taking all of the kind of unsexy categories about being an adult. And you think we all have those moments of, did everyone take a class on how to do life and I just didn't go that day?
Yeah.
And how do we make that palatable and empower this audience to have enough knowledge to have choice? That is really our North Star, and we're really doing it category by category. And so we're really laying the foundation of that with our first book launch in June called How to Skimm Your Life.
Amazing. So give me the Skimm version of How to Skimm Your Life.
This is the book that we wish that
It's
we
beautiful.
had.
It looks great. It's a great cover.
Thank you.
Seriously.
We were trying.
This was such a team effort, and our team really was so excited about the idea to bring to life the brand as like a physical manifestation of where we want to go with the company. And so this book was something that we had talked about and been approached to write for years. And we really took a step back and we were like, what would make a difference in our lives when we had started the company? What would make a difference given that the amount of questions that we get from women all over the country every day trying to figure out, like, what does it mean to actually live smarter? Because we're all smart, we're all busy. How do we take the step in the right direction, feeling informed with all of these different competing things that you have going on all the time? So we thought about everything that we've had to learn along the way and everything that we want to learn along the way. And it's tips from how to travel. That's like the biggest thing for me is like, don't pack a million things. How do you make it seem like, how do you travel, stay sane for work, be efficient, to finance, thinking about Skimm money, what's a 401k, what's a SEP IRA? How do you think about these things and never have that moment of like, this is a term that I feel not confident. Like I feel unconfident knowing what it really means and how can it affect me.
Right.
Like
Empowered.
exactly. You want people to walk away feeling empowered to make the right choice for them. And then there's basically a whole section talking about all the things that you learned in 6th grade civics. Like thinking about all of these major events from the 20th century that make up our modern history that like we all need a refresher.
Right.
And so it goes from how to de-stress, how to see the world, how to understand the world, and how to understand your world when it comes to your finances, your everyday, and make sure that every decision you are making comes from a place of strength.
This is so huge for people everywhere. It's crazy because it really does feel like in a world where there's so much news and information out there that it almost is really difficult to decipher and filter through. So to have all of the knowledge in one, physical manifestation, literally, it actually is necessary to get through your life. So everyone go out and buy How to Skimm Your Life. And where can people find the book?
You can go to theskimm.com/book. All independent bookstores, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, but always support your local bookstores.
Cute. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm going to be moderating an event for
We're
these
going on the road
ladies.
together.
Yeah, we're going on the road. We're going to be in Chicago together. I'm very excited to get back to Chicago with you, where you were from.
I'm so excited to be in my hometown with Hannah. This is
awesome.
Are you gonna come to the Pancake House with me?
It's like the best restaurant. Maybe
Are
after our
there
workout.
gluten-free pancakes?
There's omelets. We'll make it work. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, later guys. Thanks so much for watching. Actually, if you have any comments for us, please leave them in the comments below. And be sure to pick up your copy of the Skimm latest book, How to Skimm Your Life, and follow these ladies on the social network of Instagram because they just launched their new Instagram and it's called Carly and Danielle?
It's called Carly and Danielle.
Yes.
It's a very creative name.
You can also follow the Skimm.
It's better. Yeah.
Okay.